Asian stocks set for pleasant week in months. Dollar-heavy Tokyo Asian stock markets had been en route for his or her satisfactory week in months, and the dollar held off latest report highs after the European Central Bank (ECB) raised fees for the primary time in more than a decade, and bets on the size of U.S. fee hikes eased. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.24% on Friday and changed into on direction to make gains for a seventh successive day. It's likely to be the index's high-quality week because March. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares, Outdoor Japan, fell 0.03%, but the index is still set for its best week in approximately months. The euro become buying and selling at $1.019 and on path for its largest weekly upward thrust against the dollar on the grounds that late May, after having dipped below parity ultimate week. The ECB raised hobby quotes via a bigger than expected 50 basis factors to 0% overnight, its first hike in 11 years, and finishing a coverage of negative hobby costs that were in place considering the fact that 2014. While the ECB was by no means going to move with the aid of extra than 50 bits per second as we have visible from many other imperative banks, the 50 BP carry nonetheless got here as a marvel to many, stated Susan Kilsby, an economist at ANZ, in a Observe. But tightening charges quick has now end up the norm. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index became up 0.14%, extending gains made the day gone by after China's cybersecurity regulator fined DD Global Inc. $1.2 billion, doubtlessly signaling an cease to the regulatory crackdown and clearing a path for the ride-hailing massive to listing in Hong Kong. Tech agencies are likely to weigh on U.S. shares today, with Nasdaq futures down 0.68% after Snap Inc. (NYSE). Snap's negative earnings release sounded the alarm amongst buyers. Snap's accompanying caution of the impact of an economic slowdown on internet companies brought on the share fee to plummet nearly 27% in after-hours change. Twitter Inc. (NYSE), TWTR, will launch its profits later today. Leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin became down 0.48% at $23,017.15 on Friday, however is up greater than 10% at the week, which would be its exceptional end result seeing that March. Oil expenditures rose Friday and look set for their first weekly gain in extra than a month. Brent crude futures have been up 1.53% to $105.45 a barrel, and US WTI crude futures rose 1.45% to $97.75. The U.S. Federal Reserve meets to set hobby costs subsequent week, and expectations of a 100 BP hike have diminished in favor of pricing for a 75 BP flow.